Hi, you're listening to Dusk to Dawn, reading horror and weird fiction. We're your hosts, Amber and Dan.
Find any trigger warnings in our episode notes. We're happy you're joining us and enjoy the show. Hi, welcome to our second episode of our second season. Today we are talking about Tastes Like Candy, and this is a book that Amber has been excited about for some time.
Yes, since before we even started doing the podcast. I wanted you to read this and I wanted to talk to you about it.
Why don't you tell us who wrote it, because there's a little bit of a story there.
Yeah, so I won't go too much into detail because we'll deal with that later, but this is written by Jessica Lacy. This actually just came out on September 9th as a new release, but that's not the full story. This originally came out under the pen name of Ivy Tholen and was published back in 2020 through Kindle. You could get print copies through Amazon, but mainly it was Kindle Unlimited. So Jessica has written a couple of books, Tastes Like Candy 2, Mallrats, Mother Dearest. These are all under Ivy Tholen. And just this last year or this year, at least she announced it this year, she got picked up by Sourcebooks Publishing and is re-releasing all her books. So it's really exciting. I'm very happy for her.
How did you find out about her?
So I just stumbled upon her book in Powell's. It's bright pink. The spine is just pink and says Tastes Like Candy with her name on it. And the cover's a skeleton coming out of a cotton candy stick. And then the font's got that 80s intense italics. So it's just fun. I looked at this, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so interesting.
And you were surprised to see a self-published book at Powell's, right?
Well, this was all before I even realized it was self-published. I was like, whoa, what is this? This is like an 80s, 90s slasher. It felt very different compared to most horror covers that I've seen. And she actually is in the forefront of what we now call bubblegum horror. At least I find in literature, she's kind of at the forefront, because now there's lots of pinks and neon colors. That's a newer trend that I've noticed. Not to say it hasn't existed, but it feels like, maybe it's Bader-Meinhof syndrome. Now that I've seen it, it's everywhere. But this at least was the first book that I've really noticed that trend. And it turned out to be a wonderful read. All of her reads have been really fun. And so, yeah, I wanted to get your take on it and force it on the wider world.
Yeah, so something else that's interesting about this book is that because we have the Ivy Tholen edition, the book that's re-released as under Jessica Lacy is a little bit different than the one that we read. I know that
Which makes sense.
Yeah, I know that she went back and touched up some of the scenes that she wanted to add more to. I know that the beginning of the book opens up with a murder, which is not the case in the copy we have. So there will be some differences, and you'll see how obvious they are to spot based on what we're talking about in the book, or not, because we haven't read the new version yet. So
yet is the key word there.
Yes. I think it'll be fun to go in and see if we can spot the differences, how obvious they'll be. I'm sure some will be more subtle than others. Obviously, starting with a murder is different than what we have in our version, but I wonder what other kind of changes we'll see.
It's also really fun because now all my copies, I have 4 or 5 of her books. Wait, is that right? Four books?
That sounds about right.
I don't know math, but they're all like collector's editions now because you can't find Ivy Tholen anymore.
Yes, we wish her the best success. We can become self-made millionaires by selling her self-published Ivy Tholen book.
But I like having them. Unfortunately for you, I'm a collector at heart. So yeah, maybe we have some good money sitting around, but it's not going anywhere because I need to have it in my collection.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the author, Jessica Lacy.
Jessica is a horror movie buff who has loved Freddy movies, so that's Nightmare on Elm Street, since she first saw them. She started releasing her books in 2020 during the pandemic and has been going strong ever since. Originally, she published under her pen name, Ivy Solon, but has recently been acquired by Source Books Fire and is beginning the process of re-releasing her previously published works while still writing new novels. She writes the kind of books she wants to read and is heavily influenced by horror films, which is reflected in her books.
Yeah, we got a little surprise for you, too. So we ended up interviewing Jessica Lacy, and we will be posting that on the Friday after this is posted. This came about through discussions on our Instagram, Just to Dawn Podcast. Check it out if you haven't. She reached out to you, or why don't you tell the story?
Yeah, she did, because I keep posting her books. I did like a month-long challenge where it was like every day post a picture of this theme on books or whatever. And I kept posting her books. I was also reading Mallrats at that time, and I was like, this book is so good. And so she DM'd me and she's like, hey, I actually do interviews. And I was like, oh, we don't, but of course we will for you. So that's basically the shortened and much more awkward version of that conversation.
Yeah, so we interviewed, and we'll be posting that. And we did want to say it's not like we're trying to become an interview podcast or anything like that. This is just an opportunity that came up that sounded fun, so we did it. We still plan on reading all of our books and doing our typical discussions that we do because we like that format, and it works for us.
This felt like it was meant to be because when I first picked up this book at Powell's, I looked at it and I was like, man, this is exactly the type of person I want to edit for. Self-published, well put together, has a really good concept, horror. And I was like, I would love to just reach out to her on LinkedIn or something and try to get a taste of where she found her editor, like, you know, that kind of thing. Just more professional, to have a professional conversation with her about like, how do I become an editor for someone like you? And so for her to actually interview with us, it was written in the stars.
Yeah. I'm trying to make a pun based on the book, but we haven't really started talking about the book yet. Written in the cotton candy and the pecan pancakes.
Oh, God.
All right. So this book, Tastes Like Candy, it's senior year at Pritchett High, and as is tradition, a group of outgoing senior girls will invite their successors to participate in the annual senior scavenger hunt. The only catch, this year the event isn't being held on campus, but at the Poison Apple Halloween Carnival. The hunt is on, not for the scavenger items, but for our seniors. In this gory bubblegum slasher, we follow Violet as she tries to survive and discover who is killing all her friends. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
So yeah, this is straight up slasher. This is our first slasher. We didn't do a slasher last year or for first season, did we? I don't think so.
We kept talking about it. Well, we kept talking about the fact that I want to do one.
So it took a whole season to get to what you're really here for.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of my favorite subgenres.
Had to get past all that stupid literature.
So much literature.
Somebody listen to The Fisherman, please.
No, that was fun. It was fun. It's just, I really appreciate that we have very different preferences. I think that keeps it interesting, and it means we won't just keep agreeing with everything the other person has to say. Now, of course, you have to agree with everything I say because that's just how it goes, but,
Yeah, and it shows, too, how expansive horror can be. And you can probably say that with a lot of genres, but I feel like horror can really be just like on a huge spectrum, because as long as you're scaring people, you can do it in a fancy smancy literary way, or you can just do it in like a fast reading fun way and everywhere in between. So that's one of the cool things about horror.
Well, even just looking at the last book we read, which was The Reformatory, that right there, boom, it's completely different from this.
And I think what's interesting too with that, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say the only similarity is that they both have pink on the covers.
I was going to say, too, that I know that Tananarive Due also mentioned that she, I don't know if she normally writes or just did it for the reformatory, but she uses film beats. I think she said that. Or am I making that up?
Oh, are you thinking of Jessica?
Oh, no. I know that Jessica Lacy says that she writes based on film beats, which I could totally see, because this book is like very much runs on a reel in your head as you read it. I'm pretty sure Tananarive Due said a similar thing for Reformatory. So two wildly different books in context and approach, but at least structurally, maybe they looked at it the same way. very different books between episode 1 and episode 2 here. Reformatory was a heavy book, an awesome book.
Historical fiction.
Yeah, it was really leaning on the
Real
historical
life exploration of our past.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed reading it. But it was also, a heavy read, confronting a lot of difficulties.
Very heavy, yeah.
This is not a heavy read. This is like, not to say it's like breezy or anything.
Treat.
Yes, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, this is like just like straight into the gory horror fun. So let's talk a little bit about our main characters. We have Violet, and she's our protagonist. And what's interesting in the Ivy Tholen copy that we have, the book opens up with her awaiting her acceptance or rejection letters from the college she's applied to, Desert State University. And she's known for pretty much her whole life that she wants to be a musician, plays the violin like 5 hours a day. She gets up at 5:30 in the morning and plays till 7:30 and then plays at night again. So I guess she's taking it seriously.
From my experience, you can like get really into something like that and then you like burn out and move on. She hasn't burned out on it, so good for her.
Yeah, she's been doing this. So it starts out with her basically just like every single day waiting for that acceptance letter. And in the copy by Jessica Lacy, it's going to start out with a murder. So let us know how that is. Make a podcast and share it with us. But yeah, so we have Violet. She's the main character, plays violin, is about to go into her senior year of high school, just like all of her friends who are going to be part of the scavenger hunt. Her other friends are her best friend, James, who's a really talented hacker and coder. Like all these girls are super high performing.
They're the best of the best in their school. That's why they were picked for the scavenger hunt. Yeah, they're the cool kids.
Yeah, they're the cool kids. They're high performing. They're like these aren't, I don't know, the nerds of the high school.
As you say, James is a hacker, and then River's a crazy stoner. I mean, I think
also like a published crazy stoner.
Yeah.
So we got Lolly. She's a little goody two shoes. She's very academic and likes to play by the rules.
Gets into her college of choice, I believe.
Yeah, and is like the mom friend who's always there for her friends when they're messing up. We have Gracie and River. So Gracie draws a comic that they published called Graceful River, and River is the writer, and they've been doing this for a while and have actually been picked up and are like being professionally published for that.
Yeah, by like a top 5 publisher, right? Or top 4 now.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, you said top 4 last time. What's that about?
Yeah, it's actually a while. Like it used to be the big 6 and then the big 5, and now it's the big 4.
Publishing companies, yeah, because Penguin Random House acquired Simon Schuster. Oh, interesting. Okay.
And Penguin and Random House used to be separate. That was the big 6, and then they merged, and now Simon and Schuster is theirs.
Sounds like body horror.
It's like Disney.
Oh,
like the Human Centipede. Yeah, Human Centipede or Disney. I mean, your choice.
Take your pick. They're so similar.
Very different images in your head, so whatever makes you comfortable.
So one of these big 4 are publishing their webcomic. We also have Claire, who might be my favorite character, and she is like all sports captain, great swimmer. She's been accepted to all the colleges she applied to because she has like very high potential to be in the Olympics. And then we have Mila, who's the cheerleader captain, and she's described as having like ESPN quality cheerleading skills. So also like very highly successful. And then lastly, we have the self-made millionaire Blythe, who is a social media influencer and
annoyingly so. Like she has to document everything and drives everyone crazy.
Yeah. She made it big as kind of like a self-deprecating makeup guru and blew up and has a bunch of money, and her friends find her extremely obnoxious to hang around because, everything has got to be curated for a social media post.
They kind of remind me of the Spice Girls. Like they all they all have their like set persona.
Yeah, totally.
And that's not specifically the Spice Girls, but that's a little bit of what Jessica was going for. She's mentioned it's kind of like Mean Girls meets Jawbreaker meets Jennifer's Body, that kind of
Yeah.
those kind of films.
Yeah.
So I always think like, oh, Mila and Claire are like Sporty Spice and
yeah.
Anyway,
Just tear her in half and make two.
spice up your life, guys. Spice up your life.
Yeah, so these are the 8 incoming senior girls who are picked to participate in the scavenger hunt by the 8 outgoing senior girls who did the scavenger hunt the year before. But it's a little bit different this year because they are going to the Halloween Carnival, which is a lot creepier than just going around the school.
Would you go?
Would I go? I don't know. Do they have permission?
No, not. I mean, they're, as far as they know, they don't. They're kind of like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. And if not, then,
It's a senior tradition. And yeah, I would go, but I'd be nervous because I'm a punk rocker who doesn't like breaking the law. So
you're anti-establishment on paper.
So each of the girls is given a poem by one of the outgoing senior girls that gives them a pretty obvious hint as to what they need to take while they're inside the carnival to complete the scavenge. So, for example, Violet, the senior girl who chose her, was part of band. So they have that musical background that brought them together. And the poem Violet gets is, congratulations, chosen girl. Jump up and down, do a twirl, walk the grounds and follow the grass. From the ride entrance, steal a pass. These aren't like deep riddles. Just gotta go take a pass. I like the one Mila gets. Here in Texas, we like guns. Shooting evil clowns is so much fun. No more bullets for this guy. Only a squirt. Look under his chin, but above the dirt. So that's like, has to go grab a balloon from one of those water
dart.
gun.
Oh,
It's
wait.
like the water gun
Water
game.
gun shooting balloons?
Yeah, you like shoot it in the clown's mouth and then it inflates
that
a
one.
balloon.
Okay, I was thinking the one with the darts where you have to pop the balloons. I was like, how do you pop balloons with a water gun? I was like so impressed.
So it's like pretty straightforward. Go to the
Unless you're me.
yeah. Amber would have a really difficult time. Go in and take these items, and this is on a Saturday night is when the scavenger hunt takes place, and then they're also supposed to meet the outgoing senior girls on the next Sunday at the Crave Inn for pecan pancakes, which I haven't had but sound really yummy.
We can make some.
Unfortunately, the scavenger hunt does not quite go as planned.
What?
Can you believe it?
I am so shocked.
Yeah, so we have a pretty standard slasher setup. I mean, we've got a mid-sized cast,
Spooky setting.
a spooky setting. We have a place for them to go and a motive. Go get your scavenger items,
This place is fenced in, so they're stuck once they go in.
and they have to go at nighttime, which makes it scary. And they do not have permission, which makes it even scarier.
And Blythe decides that no one should have their phone, even her, which everyone's shocked about, but that's how you explain away the fact that they can't just use their cell phone.
Yeah, that would make it a little boring. So good on Blythe. I know that was probably a difficult decision for her to leave her phone at home, but or at least I think they collect it and leave it in the car and leave the phones in the car, but still
Everyone's
good on her.
But, and to top it off, they're all high as fuck.
Yeah, so they meet outside the carnival grounds, and River, the big stoner of the group, pulls out a bag of peanuts, and each of these peanuts has 20 milligrams of THC in them, which is, I think, a pretty good serving. I think like 10 milligrams is your like standard serving for, what are these things called?
Edibles.
I think 10 milligrams is like the standard edible serving size.
And these are the like squishy peanut. They're kind of marshmallowy peanuts, I believe is what these are.
And it's pretty great because some of these girls take an absurd amount. So Claire, the self-appointed leader of the scavenging group, decides that the best way to lead 8 girls through the carnival at night is to eat 5 20 milligram edibles. And she just like pops them in her mouth and just chews them down.
Okay, so first of all, they're high schoolers, so they're probably getting high more often than not. Second, they think this is going to be easy. The poems are, simple. So they're like, oh, we'll just go in, get our shit, and go out and then hang out be high until we go get breakfast. So
Yeah, they're thinking like, take these and like we'll be done before they even.
But tell me you're in high school without telling me you're in high school by thinking you can eat 20 milligrams of edibles and stay awake at midnight. Like, what? Right? No way. Take that in the morning. I'd be asleep for the entire, like for 2 days.
So who does an absurd amount? Claire takes an absurd amount.
River?
River eats like 50. Yeah, she eats 15, which would like, I don't think it can kill you, but you'd be comatose after 15 of those, I would think. So just like absurd amounts.
No one said this was an accurate portrayal of life.
But it sure is fun. And then some of the other girls, like Gracie has 1.5, which is still 30 milligrams. And Mila takes 1. The Goody Two Shoes Lolly has a scene with Violet where she's like, I don't want to do this, but I kind of want to do this. So they end up agreeing on splitting 1. So they're not all like totally out of their minds. Blythe takes 3, which is quite a lot because she's also a heavy drinker. She's drinking vodka right before they go into the place. Yeah. So yeah, her life is a mess. She's like, I mean, she's
going to get the spins.
Yeah, she's a millionaire, but she's always got to be on for social media, and she's constantly drinking and just downed 3 edibles. So it's going to be a fun night for her. And then as far as we know, we do meet a pretty fun character, Ted, who's supposed to be the security guard there, but like he's kind of got a limp and he's really lazy. He's just been working with this family who owns the carnival, the Eaton family. I think for like, they say like 10 or 15 years he was at one of their hotels, and now he gets the chance to sit in a security room and just like read true crime novels and occasionally walk the grounds if he feels like it. So whether or not they have permission, the meager security the carnival does have probably doesn't pose too much of a risk to these girls. Not as much of a risk as the edibles they're consuming.
They're all really high and Blythe is drunk. They're in the carnival and they clearly decide to all stick together to go get their stuff, right?
Yeah, they don't split up at all. That would be a terrible idea.
They would never do that in the middle of the night, high out of their minds in a creepy carnival. Psh. Yeah, they completely split up.
Yeah, they decide to pair off at least. But those pairs quickly split off.
Yeah.
This book gets off to a running start. We get a little bit of Violet and her musical background and waiting for the acceptance letter from DSU and these kind of like character building moments. And I think they're done well. I don't want to say that they're just like glossed over for how many pages is this? It's about 240 like pages. Mm-hmm. And for getting to the action pretty quick. I would say that Lacy also does a good job of giving each of these characters enough backstory and character development so that I am interested when they die.
Well, you can be interested when they die and not give a shit about the character, but yeah, you give a shit about the characters, basically.
I mean, I guess should I do my slasher spiel?
Do your splasher spiel.
My slash. So I have a horrible confession to make. I don't really like slashers in horror movies that much. I know there's like, tisk. Jacen and Michael Myers and what's another one?
Freddy.
See, the thing with Freddy was my gateway into horror, and I guess he's a slasher, but it's so crazy with like the nightmares.
He doesn't slowly walk after people. Is that your thing?
Yeah, the whole like dream nightmare thing, I think gives Freddy his own little category that's really fun. But yeah, I kind of struggle with Jacen and Halloween and stuff. Like they're kind of fun to watch, but I feel like because they're movies, I barely know the characters, and it's just like a guy mid-tempo walking after people.
Okay, but you just saw a movie for the first time recently, and you were impressed.
Which movie?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah. That was nuts. I had never seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then on Texas Chainsaw Day, according to the theater, which is when it was like, I think it was August 18th is when the movie takes place. So a local theater we have plays the movie on that day. And I went with some friends from our horror writing group to go see it. And it was crazy because I was expecting like the characters to go into their house with Leatherhead and like get a sense that somebody's there and something's off and all that kind of thing. But pretty early into the movie, the first character that walks into that house just like steps in there, and then a door is opened and Leatherface just like clubs him in the head with a mallet immediately. Like,
surprise.
The first thing we see, I think I called him Leatherhead earlier. That shows how little I know about slashers. But like the first thing that happens when we see Leatherface, that is his name, right?
Yeah, you're mixing him up with Pinhead, maybe.
Maybe. I like Hellraiser too. That's not really slasher. That's like
no, but I think the head.
Yeah.
Is coming from
but yeah, so the first moment we see Leatherface, he's like got his arm up and then like kills a kid, which was crazy. Really blew me away. I was expecting a lot more build up and like tension around what's going on in here, and it was just like an immediate kill. So that was cool. But yeah, generally slashers, I don't know.
Okay, well let's cover a couple more. What about Scream? That's one of my favorites.
Okay, Scream was good because I was like the age of those kids when we saw it.
Yeah, it's also so meta because it makes fun of itself so well, right? It's like we're like clearly in a slasher, you know. It's just so funny. Okay, so that's a good one. Pearl.
Oh, well, I mean, Pearl is like in the new world.
It's pretty new. Okay.
But you can
Sleepaway Camp.
I've never seen it.
You never seen that? I'm pretty sure that a friend of a friend's mom was in that one.
Yeah.
I think it was Sleepaway Camp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you did last summer.
I don't know. I'm sure it was fine. I saw it when it came out in theaters a long time ago.
It didn't hold up as well as I would have liked. Candyman.
I liked that. That freaked me out. I was definitely young when I saw that.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that.
I think a lot of it is putting on my current expectations as a reader and a viewer. I'm definitely I like kind of the newer breed of horror that's really gone deep into character development and like kind of twisting plot lines. And, I like all that literary stuff.
Literary. I was about to say literature.
Yeah. I guess that's my long-winded way of saying I wasn't sure going into this book if I'd like it or not, because if I'm not really into like standard slashers as a movie, how am I going to do as a book? And I ended up liking it a lot more because it helped balance out some of those things I don't like in movie form, which including like giving more character development and just more time with the people on the page so that I actually kind of knew who was dying and something about them so I could shed a little tear.
But I mean, then would you care then for the later Halloween movies? Because like Jamie Lee Curtis is the same character in most of the if not all of.
Yeah, I don't know. Sequels just get boring. Okay. Like we did the last Halloween movie we watched, which was like 2 or 3 ago now, was pretty fun. It was when like her and her
like the
daughter?
Feminist one. That was,
I don't know if it was supposed to be her daughter.
I think it was just Halloween.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, they're fun to watch.
Yeah, because like Halloween H2O was just bad. If I remember,
there was correctly. A lot of bad sequels in the Halloween franchise.
Well, I love the second one because it was just like, no, John Carpenter was like, okay, it's done. And then anyway. Okay, so you're unsure if you're in like a slasher, and you did. So I did. Yeah. That makes me so happy because we have at least 1 or 2 more slashers this season.
You know what? I really liked Scream 5. We just watched the whole Scream series.
Oh, we're like, okay. With
that one's pretty good.
Jenna Ortega, Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, I think that was the one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's again very different than.
So I guess I like slashers that mess with the slasher formula. It's just like the basic slasher formula. It doesn't quite do it for me.
I should get you to read The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix.
Okay.
It's like all final girls who survived slashers, and it's pretty clear. This one survived Freddy. This one survived Jacen, and like they're in a support group together.
That's cool.
And then there's a slasher, or a murder or whatever. Anyway.
I guess one of them hasn't slept in many, many moons.
Yeah, actually. Okay. Back to the book. We're getting sidetracked with films, which makes sense because it's such an inspiration for Jessica Lacy, but let's circle back. So it's a slasher, and you appreciate the fact that you have some character building. What did you think of the kills?
The kills are good.
Yeah, aren't they good?
Yeah. This book is interesting because it's young adult for the majority of it, I would say. Maybe even all of it would fit within the young adult genre, but then the kills are pretty brutal.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk a little bit about genre because That is something that has come up with
And then
bubblegum horror.
we'll talk about some of the kills. Don't you worry.
Oh,
Hang in
right.
there.
Well, we can do that first.
No, we can do genre. Or should we do kills?
Let's do kills and then
Yeah,
genre.
yeah. Let's spice it up a little bit.
I don't have to get all academic on you quite yet.
Oh, so you can be pretentious too. Of course you can.
I gave like a whole lecture on Gothic literature. So, yeah.
All right,
Newsflash.
All right, let's talk about some of the kills. Maybe what we'll do is let's talk about some kills without names attached to them. How's that sound?
Yeah,
just
that works.
like because we got 8 girls here. Several of them do not make it through the night. I'll just leave it at that.
Shocking, I know. So, okay, we're going to talk about the deaths, but just be aware, spoilers.
Yeah. And we're going to just talk about some of our favorite deaths and leave the names off. So and
we'll give you vague descriptions. We're not going to go into detail. Yeah. We'll leave the details to Jessica.
So now while you read, you can be like, oh, is it this kill? Is it the kill where?
Because they're going to die. I mean, it's obvious. It's a slasher. It's not like everyone survives, okay? Just deal with it. It's fine.
Now, what's pretty great is on the cover of the book, we do have a cotton candy skull, which is the same for the new release of the book. Do you actually know?
Yes, it's the same. It's just reworked a bit. It's more intense colors. It's the same artist, so he just reworked it.
Okay. I just want to say there is a great kill that goes with this cover. Probably, the iconic kill of the book.
Jessica has a antidote about that in the interview that we have with her. So I will let her tell that instead of me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was a great kill. That to me was the most iconic, probably because it's on the cover.
Yep.
In a sense. But that was really fun.
Have a great drop tank kill.
Yes.
That one's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
We got, a hall
for all you people who just love water.
Yeah. There's a really cool kill in the Hall of Mirrors in like a fun house, which is really cool. Plays with perspective, and the character in there is quite high, seeing reflections of themselves in all different forms.
I think we've established they're all very high.
Yeah, but this character is real high. So that's a really fun scene.
Test your strength.
Oh, ouch. Yeah. There's an exploding head, which results in some brain matter on another character that stays there throughout the book. Oh, we have a crucified water gun death.
It's so good.
Oh, we get an axe to the chest.
Of course, classic.
Gotta have an axe kill in a slasher.
But at least it's in the chest and not in the back.
Oh, God. I don't know.
You'd rather have it in the back?
Well, then you couldn't see it.
Oh my God. But it wouldn't.
I mean, they both sound like bad situations.
I mean, but that could like sever your spine and then you're like paralyzed. But you're
she
not.
Dies. She dies.
I know that. But if you're hit in the back, there's more crap to have to get through.
But your heart is in your chest.
I know. So you die faster.
Oh, I see.
That's a good thing when you're going to die no matter what.
Oh, okay.
Like, we don't want to draw it out. I mean, unless you're the killer.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm a coward and I don't want to face my killer.
Oh, that's different. Okay.
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
Meanwhile, I'm talking about like
how long you have to be in pain for. So you'll face your death if it means a quicker death.
I guess
sort of.
I close my eyes.
Oh, we should mention too the killer who's doing all this, the liquor. Describe the liquor for us.
Oh, the liquor. Oh, this is so great. This is such a great play on a bunch of classic slashers. So Violet and Blythe go to this carnival. It's the Poison Apple Halloween Carnival.
This is a previous time to the scavenger hunt.
Yeah. They go around Halloween time, and during Halloween time, they have play actors who, like when you go in a haunted house, sometimes they have actors like who do jump scares and stuff. It's that kind of thing, but all over the park. But they have like restricted areas where they can't go. So like the food court, for instance, because if you scare people while they're eating, they're going to throw food and waste their money and then get mad, for instance. So Blythe and Violet are at the carnival. They're in like the food court area, for instance, and they see this guy who's just staring at them, like holding a knife. They have props too. and they're weirded out. The liquor comes running up to them, gets really close, and the person has a mask on with like this really long tongue that hangs out like a dog. I'm just kind of imagining there's a funny version of the Scream mask that has the long tongue. I think it was in like Scary Movie. Anyway, so it has this long tongue and it gets really close to Blythe and like its tongue starts to go down her shirt or whatever. And Violet notices that the knife looks a little too real. And then the person just like backs off and like walks away. And they're like, what the fuck? That was super creepy. They weren't supposed to do that. The knife looked too real. It was super awkward. And they're like, okay, whatever, moving on. And then so now in the carnival, Violet notices right off the bat, wait, it's the liquor from that incident. So she's all freaked out.
Yeah, this carnival sounds creepy because when they have those nights that the workers are allowed to dress up and they're supposed to stay within bounds, basically describe how the park picks like the worst of the worst and then lets them wear masks and like go around and creep people out.
Harass them, basically. Yeah. People pay to be harassed. I love it.
But yeah, this harassment went too far. So the liquor has been seen before and now the liquor returns to kill some high school girls.
Yeah, so it's like they've been targeted. Obviously, but this is not a new face. So Violet right off the bat is like, oh shit, this might actually be a real issue. So she knows then that this killer already knows them, at least her and Blythe.
Yeah, so like as they're getting killed, they end up getting separated from each other, obviously. And then because they get access to the security control room from which the security guard is missing, both the killer and the characters are kind of messing around with the lights and the security cameras. And so like throughout the different scenes where you have characters trying to like stay to the shadows and get out of the way, suddenly the lights will turn on and like the ride music will begin out of nowhere. So
creepy. I love it. Yeah. It's the visuals. So good.
So you could just imagine, downing 5 edibles and then like crawling around in the dark. And then all of a sudden all this carnival music and lights pop up and there's a killer out there. Makes for some pretty fun scenes. Did you have a favorite character that you liked or you really enjoyed their demise or anything like that?
I think my favorite, I would say it's either River or Blythe. River is just hilarious and like so low key, typical stoner, like whatever. And Blythe is just such the juxtaposition of River. And she's just so annoying and, someone you love to hate. They're great opposites. But of course, the majority of the time we're getting Violet's perspective, and I really did like her as a character too. But I guess if I was going to say like of not Violet, it would be those two. And you said Claire, right?
Yeah, like Claire. She was cool. She just like physically strong on top of shit, tries to lead the group and keep things going. And I mean, like you said, it's all from Violet's perspective. So we kind of just get like little flashes of the other characters. But considering Claire is like the most athletically gifted of them, it just sets you up for a good confrontation with the slasher.
Yeah, that's fair. So changing direction a little bit here. So all these girls live in Beldam. And this is like a world that Jessica has created. And there is already Tastes Like Candy too. But she also has a book called Mallrats, which takes place in the same universe. And also Fatally Yours is the new title for Mother Dearest, is also in this world. So all her books take place in this world. And one thing that I really love that she does is in Mallrats, for instance, she mentions the high school scavenger hunt and like how it all went wrong in the past and stuff. So she has like that interweaving. The title is in the book. At one point it says Tastes Like Candy in this book. I love how everything's kind of interconnected in her writing. And it just adds a fun little Easter egg hunt for if you pick up her books.
Yeah, it's fun too because I haven't read very much young adult horror, but I feel like sometimes young adult can trip up can trip up on itself. Like I trip
Like
up
your
over
words?
my words. Just, sometimes the themes can be like a little heavy handed and the character arc can be a little too obvious. Yeah. In this book, that's not really the case. It's like, it's more young adult, maybe in the way it reads, I guess, but it doesn't fall prey to some of those like smarmy conventions. We set up these girls and then they start getting murdered and it gets right to the fun parts.
Yeah, she didn't write this as young adult. Like that wasn't her thought process, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think part of that comes from just the subgenre of horror that it falls into, which is bubblegum horror or pink horror, because the concept of bubblegum horror, I'll go with bubblegum horror, but the idea of bubblegum horror is kind of the juxtaposition between the pink, bright, young, feminine cutesiness and the horror aspects, like the gore in this case. Like it's young girls who have a bright future and they're high schoolers and everything's hunky-dory, and then they're getting brutally murdered at the creepy carnival. So that
juxtaposition.
I just said that word.
I'm trying to thesaurus it in your head.
It kind of indicates, like it gives a
dichotomy. That sounds smart.
I don't need to sound smart. I am smart. Like the looking, it's like, it's kind of annoying to me actually, but the idea that like looking at like the more feminine aspects of it kind of makes it tend to feel more youthful and therefore YA. And it annoys me in the sense that like, why, if it's feminine, does it necessarily make it more for younger audiences? I think in part that's because a lot of YA is pointed at girls. Like if you think about it, like romantasy and stuff is very directed at female readers because male readers tend to drop off in, unfortunately, very large numbers. So you're getting a lot of push towards young women to keep them as readers.
Oh, the guys are just dropping off of reading.
Of reading, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think there's some pretty dismal statistics out there about how men just stop reading. And so, of course, the market's going to push towards females to get them on the bandwagon or whatever.
Guys, you should keep reading. Yes. But if you're listening to this, you're probably reading. So
fair enough. Yeah. And, you can always come back to it as it, but my point being is that, I think that some of this is geared more at young people to get them into the genre, which I think is great. This book particularly it can be a gateway into horror. I feel like it's already pretty deep in it though. So if you're new to it and you're like an actual young adult, it's kind of, it's like, okay, if you're in high school, sure, read this. I saw Scream when I was at least in high school, maybe even middle school, but middle school, I don't know. Suddenly it's like, where does young adult start and where does too young? It's a weird thing, but you're seeing a lot of books now that are looking like Lisa Frank meets R.L. Stine, but it's more adult in the themes than R.L. Stine, if that makes sense.
We have a part written for us in this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
James's parents.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny because James's parents are described as like, the mom was basically a metalhead who marries like the grunge punk. They become soccer mom, suburban staples, which I hope haven't become. I don't know.
We still mostly wear black.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we still
whatever that
blast
means.
Death metal and have our tattoos and stuff. We're not trying to fit in. I kind of want to paint our house black. I think that'd be hilarious. Yeah, but anyways, yeah.
I mean, we're lamer by age.
Yeah, but I mean, that's, you kind of settle down sometimes in some aspects.
Yeah, James' parents, there's a scene where her mom is driving her and Violet around and is still like blasting music and stuff, but otherwise looks prim and proper. So
yeah. Well, it's funny because like I still dress generally the same as like when I was in my 20s, but now that's just like old people millennial. right? Like skinny jeans are so like millennial. Like we don't wear those anymore. We're back to the 90s. And I'm like, oh my God, no. Why?
You just do you, and eventually the trend will come back.
Yeah. Or you'll just look old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is fine. But anyway.
I think we do okay.
Yeah. So back to, the actual book and less about us getting old. I'm loving the bubblegum horror, and I think there are a lot of adult books that are bubblegum horror. I think this is a good indicator of like, yeah, it can lean towards YA. Same with Such Lovely Skin, that was another YA one that we read. And I wouldn't really consider that bubblegum horror, but it's an interesting balance that you have to find between adult and YA. I don't know why. Why? Who cares? That's a
Gotta
stupid
categorize
point.
things.
Yeah. I do admit, though, I do really love the like Lisa Frank aesthetic. Because, we all loved our R.L. Stine. So I feel like it's a very millennial thing, seeing all this stuff. Millennial writers.
Yeah, it does feel like someone who grew up on R.L. Stine writing a book as an adult.
And she did.
Which she did mention.
Jessica Lacy is exactly that. And I think that's kind of where we're at with this subgenre, is all of us 80s, 90s kids bringing that nostalgia back in. I even see that with the new Mickey Mouse show. It looks like the animators 100% watched Ren and Stimpy as kids. And I'm like, this is so weird. Mickey Mouse doing weird Ren and Stimpy stuff blows my mind. But that's just where we're at. That's what we grew up on. So now we're rehashing that into our art. And I absolutely love it. Because the 90s were wild. So it being a slasher, but also being high school, which, Scream, I know what you did last summer, all the classics, right?
That's
They're
another
all
thing,
high
though.
school.
Like in Scream, you see that these actors are all 25, and that kind of like.
Yeah, that's true. But they're supposed to be high schoolers.
Yeah. But in the book,
Friday
you
the
can just
13th.
imagine them as age appropriate, which I think helps.
Yeah. Friday the 13th, they're all high schoolers, camp counselors. I mean, they all look in their 20s and stuff, but still, that's the genre's always been that. But I don't consider Friday the 13th or Halloween YA.
Oh, Johnny Depp was only 21. I assumed he'd be like 26
still
or something.
Not in high school. I mean, hopefully he's not in high school.
He could have been held back several times.
30 years. Point being that, I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing that we're pushing. I don't know, but particularly slashers are going to be marketed as YA when even the movies that are supposed to be high schoolers were considered mature. Now, granted, high schoolers were watching it. Does that make it YA?
I don't know. I guess that you're asking then is YA based on the people who are consuming it or the people it's targeted toward? Probably a little of both.
But yeah, so bubblegum horror is definitely a popular subgenre right now. And Jessica Lacy did a great job capturing that concept. I think even before it was really a thing. She's so, she's such a hipster. She's doing
because she did it first?
Bubblegum horror before it's cool. No, she definitely doesn't have that mentality. She's very down to earth, very chill. She is just a huge horror enthusiast, and it comes through really well. It's just interesting to think about like how it is being marketed, and it'll be really interesting to see how heavily it is marketed as what, as it's coming out and who's reading it and such. But yeah, it's a great read. I've read like all her books, and that's definitely my biggest taste of candy books. But I'm definitely going to read more bubblegum horror. Like, I'm going to go search them out now and really just do a deep dive.
I could tell that she was having fun when she read this. It comes through in the story, too, which makes it a really great read, because when the author's having a fun time, you feel it in the prose.
Yeah, it makes it. It definitely makes it. It doesn't feel forced at all. It feels like she's just having a wild ride, and we are in the roller coaster with her. I'm trying so hard. Okay, well, yeah, that's a nice little taste of Tastes Like Candy.
Yeah, it's fun. Easy read, quick read.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you recommend it?
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's like a, I don't know, what do you call it? A beach read? I'm not sure if it's quite that. It's more of like now that we're getting into the fall, it's a pumpkin spice latte, sit in the corner and I don't know. That doesn't quite have the same ring as beach read. What's the fall version of a beach read?
Slasher season?
I'll just say yes. I like this book. It's a quick and easy read. It's fun, and it's just great for the season, because if you're just looking for some straight up horror with some good relationships and not overcomplicated, just like get right to the good stuff, this is your book.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's fun. Well, technically, it's still the end of summer. It's not autumn until the 22nd of September.
I'm in a sweater and it's September and our kids in school. So.
Yeah, we're also in Oregon, so I don't know. It doesn't necessarily translate everywhere. But yeah, it feels a little bit more like a summer read, even though it's like back to school. So it's right around now.
I should also say that it's just really impressive as a self-published book. At least the Ivy Tholen edition is just really well put together, and without having done any sleuthing beforehand, it looks like a professionally made book. So she did a really good job.
Yeah, this was a great find for just, it was definitely for me the cover makes it. I picked it up. I was like, this looks fun. And saw it even says on it a slasher novel. And I was like, okay, I'll buy this. And I read it, and I turned around and went on Amazon and bought all of her other books, like all at once. I went and I was just like, boop, 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 bought them all. And I'm glad I did, especially now, because now they're no longer available as of yet. So great find. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved rereading it. And I am definitely going to read it for a third time with the new edition as soon as I get my hands on it.
So do you know Tastes Like Candy by Jessica Lacy, the new version, is out?
Yes.
Are the other books she published under Ivy Tholen coming out on a staggered release, or did any others come out along with this?
No. So she had to pull all of her books from Amazon, which was like her sole place where she was publishing them, because she got picked up by a publisher and they now have the rights to her books. So she no longer can write horror, I believe, at all outside of her contract, unless they don't want to pick up her book. So they pulled all her books, and now they're going to re-release with her, making edits and them having a say and suggestions and stuff. They're all going to come out as new books. So this one's out, and then I believe the second one coming out will be Mother Dearest, which was the last book she published, but it's renamed as Fatally Yours. I think that comes out in the early spring, at least as of right now. And then after that, I believe, is Tastes Like Candy 2, which, again, these were already published, but she's reworking them. So it'll be interesting. It'll be so cool to see how she what she changes, and kind of getting an idea of like what she as an author thought was bad, as opposed to what, I might have thought as a reader, like, oh, this didn't work so well, and see like how that compares. It's something I don't think we'll get to do very often at all. So it's a fun little internal experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun to read the new version.
But yeah, so she has those, and then she also has Mallrats. I would assume that would come out after Tastes Like Candy 2. And then I think she's already talking about Tastes Like Candy 3. She made it sound like she's going to have 2 worlds basically within Belhem. So that'll be the one area, but then there's like modern times and the 90s. And I think her books are going to go back and forth between those 2 eras, and then have a structured storyline. I don't know if they're all going to be like in a series form, or if they're going to be kind of standalone. I'm thinking of Fear Street, where, it was like the same story, but in different time periods. I think that's what I gathered is her overarching concept. So I'm really excited.
Oh, maybe we'll go back and meet James's parents when they were still punk rock.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. Or they're totally different characters. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Or like the beginnings of the carnival, like when it's brand new and not so creepy. And, you know, maybe it got worse and worse over the years because I don't know.
Because people kept dying.
I'm not writing the books. Well, I'm just excited to read them. I don't need to have such strong opinions on or writing. Maybe I'll write some fan fiction. She would love that. I'll send her some fan fiction. Yeah, so that's Tastes Like Candy. I definitely recommend it. She's a really good author and a really awesome person. So I am totally in her corner. I can't wait to see what she has for us in the future. Yeah, and hopefully she'll come up to Portland and I'll get some signed books. And she did say that she's going to have Ivy Tholen as a character. I love that. What a great idea.
Yeah, kill off your pen name.
She just has a great idea. Like everything she's said about like her concepts and her ideas fit really well and how I as a reader would want to read it. So she's definitely an author that is very clearly a reader of horror, a watcher of horror, and a horror appreciator or aficionado. I don't know.
Connoisseur.
Connoisseur. Yes, thank you. Read it. Buy all her books as they come out. Or you can probably find them on eBay for millions of dollars, but not my copy because that's mine. God damn it!
I mean, if you want to give us millions of dollars, just reach out to me and it'll disappear.
Bastard.
We became millionaires, but our relationship was forever broken.
But you only got $500,000 because I divorced you.
Do you know how many times I could take you to Disneyland with this money?
Shut up. Don't tempt me.
What have you been reading?
So I have a pretty short list this time around with all the travel and prepping for school and starting up the podcast. I have been a very slow reader. I've also been trying to get ahead for the podcast, so I've been reading a lot of podcast books. But outside of that, I read Clown in Cornfield 3, The Church of Frendo by Adam Cesare. He just had his first Clown in a Cornfield made into a film, and I haven't seen it yet. I actually really liked that book, speaking of slashers, but I haven't gotten around to seeing it.
I think it might be streaming. I might have seen it.
I think it's streaming on Shudder.
Oh, okay.
At least I've seen it there. I haven't looked yet. I haven't really... I want to like sit down and watch it. I don't want to just have it on in the background. So time is not the best, especially because we're watching the new Alien show, which is really good. So I want to keep that up while I have your attention.
Wake up, man.
Dan does not watch TV shows because he watches like 2 episodes, falls asleep, and then gives up.
I watch 1.5 episodes. Let's be honest.
Okay. Anyway, so that was good. It's interesting because a lot of the reviews for it that I've read, at least, liked this one the most, or at least it's really high up there. I thought it was good. It was a little jarring for me, I think, because I was doing an audiobook and traveling. And so what I'm saying is I think I was a bit distracted for reading this one at the time, which is unfortunate because I really do like the series. But I also feel like I don't know. Once I started it, I was like, I want to keep reading it, but I think my brain just wasn't in the right place. So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite. But that very well could just be my mind wasn't in the right place for it at this time. I also just read Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, which was really good. It's a reworking of Carmilla. The woman's name is even Carmilla. And I was like, I really should read this, especially
Check out our Carmilla episode.
Yeah, because we have an episode on the original Carmilla. And at first, I will admit, I was rolling my eyes. I was like, oh my God, this is so pretentious. She's trying too hard with having that gothic voice. It was very, very good. It was legitimate. It didn't come across as pandering to the genre. which was my initial fear. I think also part of that comes from, again, I was listening to the audiobook and they had a British, I'm not even going to pretend, they had a British accent, which, adds to the gothic feel. And it was just, it felt like, oh God, I'm in for it now. But it was a fabulous book, very eloquent. The story was gripping, very good retelling of Carmilla. I think you would actually really enjoy that for the literary aspects of it. But that's about it. Like I said, I've been reading other stuff, but it's mainly been for the podcast. So
cool.
Slow for me. Because
you were traveling, I read quite a bit.
Of course.
So I'm actually going to just talk about a handful of the things that I was reading while you're gone. Save some more for the next episode.
A handful. Oh, you sound so pretentious.
Hey, it was good. I read a lot. Apparently it's easy when your family's away. All right. So first of all, the first book I read was Piranesi by Susanna Clark. And yeah, so Piranesi is really cool. It was actually a recommendation from someone in our writing group because we all went to Pal's Books after seeing Weapons together. And I didn't really know much about this except that the friend was like, hey, this is good. And I thought it would be fun to read something outside of horror just to like shift my mind a little bit since we did so much for the first season. And it's just nice to like get outside of the genre you're in all the time and change things up. And I ended up really enjoying it. It's a very dreamlike book written as journal entries from the main character who's basically stuck in this like endless house filled with marble halls and statues and an imprisoned ocean that's at the bottom of the halls. There's kind of like three levels. There's the lower level that has the ocean where he actually can like fish and use things to survive. And then the top is all like clouded up and lightning and rain and all that kind of stuff. So there's like a weather system within this endless structure that he's stuck within, and the character is mostly alone but occasionally runs into one other person known as the Other, who he basically like meet up with and then get research assignments from the guy because the other person is like a scientist researcher, and they occasionally work together to find hidden knowledge within the house. But it's just really cool. The way it's written, like I said, is very dreamlike and really wondering what's going on, and the way that it unravels becomes really cool. It could almost fit on this podcast, but I don't think it's quite the right kind of match. Check it out. Piranesi, really fun book. After that, I read The Fantastic Providence by Alan Moore and illustrated by Jacen Burrows.
Wait, is it called The Fantastic Providence?
It should be. No, it's just called Providence.
Okay.
That would be a whole different vibe if it was The Fantastic Providence.
I was going to say a little pretentious, but you do you.
So this was very much like a Lovecraft mythos inspired story, but it's really cool in the sense that like H.P. Lovecraft is a character in the story. First of all, I should mention it's comics. It's 12 issues, and similar to Watchmen, each issue is like half of a traditional comic, and then the other half is written prose. And in this case, it's the main character's journal. It's like 1920s Providence, Rhode Island. And if you've read any H.P. Lovecraft, you'll see a lot of those references coming in, because essentially the main character is a reporter who leaves his job in order to do research for a book that he wants to write about. That's kind of like the folk tales of New England. It's really well done. It does tackle some of the issues with H.P. Lovecraft because we meet him as a character, as I mentioned. And of course, he's super interesting because he's the one who inspired this crazy cosmology, but it also goes into kind of his more like unsavory personal traits, and the way that it all comes together, and like how the myths that he's writing become real in this world is just really cool. I couldn't recommend it enough.
It's unfortunate that such a jerk has like a whole subgenre, right? Lovecraftian horror is like a big cosmic horror thing, but why did he have to be such an asshole?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. When was he alive in the early 20th century, or I think he was. I don't know.
I thought he was 19th century. Oh, yeah. He was born in 1890. So he should fucking know better.
I mean, that's like a ripe time of racism. Or maybe you could say that about all times in America.
But he was born in Rhode Island. Like, try a little, dude. Come on. It's not like he's from the fucking deep south.
Yeah.
Asshole.
I mean...
Sorry, I have strong opinions about Lovecraft.
I don't know. I haven't studied him that closely. I just know that, he obviously had some pretty... The dude was just a racist and like...
He wasn't shy about it.
Yeah. So I don't know how much of it was him. It's all on him, right? How much of it was like that was the prevailing attitudes at that time, which I'm sure there's some truth there, not to like let him off the hook. But
well, yeah, you can say that with like pretty much any historical figure easily. I mean, even Lincoln wasn't perfect,
I know that
no one is, honestly.
He did. I remember reading about how he did some like international travel and it like somewhat softened his views, but I think
that's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't dug into his biography. I'm more interested in his cosmology, but anyway, highly recommend Providence. It's really cool. The thread that brings it all together at the end is really well done, and it's definitely horror. I mean, we could do that on this podcast, but I don't know how you feel about doing graphic novels. That's kind of like a different realm. And then lastly, I'm going to mention another comic. This was just 3-issue series, and that's it, called Time Waits. And this one is exciting. It's a science fiction time traveling story co-written by a good friend of mine, David Brothers. And he co-wrote it with Chip Zdarsky, who's a pretty big name in comics. Supposedly did a really cool Daredevil run. So of course I'm going to plug my friend's comic that he helped write, because he's a really good writer, and I liked the comic too. So check out Time Waits. I think he said it was self-published. I got it on Distillery, DSTLRY.com. So maybe they just sell self-published comics there and stuff. But anyway, yeah, that was a fun story. 3 issues goes by pretty quick. The art's really good. And considering it's juggling time travel in a short narrative frame, it's done really well. And that's what I'll talk about for now. I'm going to save some of the other stuff I've been reading for the next one.
Awesome. Yeah, so pretty much all that we have left to talk about is what's up next. What's on the chopping block?
Are you asking me? I guess I'm looking for it.
No, that was a rhetorical question.
Okay, good.
So next up, we have Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. This just released at the end of August, or mid-August, I believe.
That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about that. Chuck Tingle is quite the character. I have read other things in order to prep for this discussion, which is going to be fun. And then after that, we're getting into October, so we got to have some fun ones. So I picked both of these. We're going to read Maeve Fly by C.J. Leede. I read this last year, and I absolutely loved it. And then we're going to follow that one up with the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre by Philip Fracassi, and that comes out at the end of this month. But I did get an ARC copy because I'm sneaky like that. That one's not necessarily a Halloween book, but I thought it would be really fun to do a slasher, especially when that takes place in a retirement home. That just feels so like it's such a fun mix that I couldn't resist. And I figure there's nothing more fun than having a quirky sounding slasher right around Halloween. So that's the rest of September and our October books.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. I mean, I haven't read the books yet. Maybe they'll suck.
And then we'll also have our little surprise interview with Jessica Lacy coming out later this week. So
yeah,
lots on the horizon. And that's, yeah. So, and as I think I had mentioned before, I'm going to be sharing the next 3 books instead of 2, just to give a longer window for reading if you're reading along with us.
Yeah, it helps me because I keep forgetting what's coming up. So thanks.
Yeah, because that spreadsheet doesn't help at all. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, it was a sweet one. Yeah. See you in the next episode.
Well, if you've made it this far, then we didn't scare you off. Thanks for listening to Dusk to Dawn, reading horror and weird fiction.
Please rate our podcast, and if you like, follow us on Instagram at Dusk to Dawn Podcast, which is also our Gmail address. Tell us what you liked or didn't like about the show, and let us know if you have any book suggestions. See you next time. Bye.